Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hi Podcast. I'm Dad. Over here, you got your boy, the one and only Joey Two Bananas.
And you got your homeboy over here, Franklin,
Oh my God.
the Tanklin, looking for some chicklin.
That didn't even rhyme.
Hicklin. I got a thesaurus up looking for words that end in K-L-I-N. Oh, goblin. You know, I'm a goblin. I like goblin
Dicks.
Fuck.
You walked into that.
I set you up for that one. God damn it. Man, why did I think of that? Anyway.
You walked into that. Okay, I finally got you at the beginning.
You got me good, bro. You fucking okey doked my ass.
Well, if that didn't tell you, this is a podcast about dads. If you've never listened before, apparently some people are tuning in now and they're catching the weirdest parts of our podcast, like cream pie till I die and stuff like that.
Those are the best parts. Those are the awesome parts.
And we've been making these kind of jokes since way back in
fucking
high school,
eons, bro.
And you know, it's funny because we just recorded an episode recently with my cousin, CK Prep. And afterwards, we all three started shooting the shit and just talking about like what it was like back when we were in high school and college. We actually had a story that we were telling that happened on a Friday night. We're coming back from a club, randomly run into this guy in the middle of the road, like doing some stupid shit. And now it's a Friday night and we're recording a podcast at late o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, real late.
Because we had to put the kids to bed and all that. Like, dad life done changed us, bro, from the kids we used to be.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, pre-kids, right? Just the crazy things we were getting into. I mean, it's unfortunate that CK Prep isn't able to be here and tell his side of the story, but man, we were getting into it. He was talking about how crazy things were. Yeah.
We were literally talking about like the crazy stuff I got up to with him in college, which is funny because I feel like I've kind of skipped the college years a bit.
How?
No. Well,
Sway?
in regards to how, when we're talking, a lot of the conversations we've had have been like post-college and pre-college.
But you know why that is, right?
Because I was drunk.
There was a time where me and you did not hang out.
Yeah.
And it was during that time in college. You were going through your shit. I had my priorities.
You were newly married.
Yeah. And like we kind of just went our separate ways.
Yeah.
Where we didn't really hang out. So that frame for me, I mean, I was there for a little bit of it, right? You
came by for the important stuff.
Well, I was there at the beginning.
You caused a fight between me and my ex.
Why?
When y'all kidnapped me for my birthday and didn't let me use my phone. She got so mad.
Fuck
I didn't know where you were. I had plans for us and you got kidnapped. And you didn't text me. And I was like, you didn't think it was important to tell them to give you your phone to call your girlfriend? No. Now, me as an adult would be like, yeah, that was mad irresponsible.
Get out of here. You really think that?
As an adult, like if y'all were to grab me one day and take me out for like my birthday or something like that and me not tell my wife where I was at,
come on,
and not talk to her and like the entire day be gone and she doesn't know where I'm at, what happened to me, I'm not answering my phone. Yeah, that's a little irresponsible.
Okay, when you say it like that, it sounds a lot more fucked up than it is.
Exactly. So, hey, X, if you listening, which I know you're not, I apologize.
Listen,
I realize now that was some stupid kitty shit.
Number one, fuck that hot ass bitch, okay? Nobody needs her ass. She was bad for you. Number two, your wife right now is way hotter than that hot ass bitch. So fuck all that.
But actually, no, this kind of ties in with the whole changes and stuff like that. As a father now and as a married man, I'm actually thankful for the relationship I had with her. As tumultuous as it was, I'm thankful for it now because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I am now. I grew a lot from that relationship. So looking back on it now, back in the day, I used to be like, yo, fuck that not nice woman. Like hardcore. But now I'm just like, if I was to run into her, I'd be like, hey, can I say thank you for the experiences? Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have what I have now. You know, as weird as that is to say, I know a lot of people don't think that way.
So I remember those times. And I remember we didn't even fall out. It wasn't even a falling out. We just stopped hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
It's just you had different priorities and I had different priorities to me on my side.
Well, you had more mature priorities. You were a husband.
But we also we went to different colleges too, so we had a different college experience on both.
I was
ends.
the dumbass who put myself in debt.
I put myself in debt too. Yeah, that's a big oof right there. Oof. But now that I think about it, after you started dating her, like just a little bit after is when we stopped hanging out.
Yeah, because she didn't like y'all.
Well, that makes sense.
To be fair, I think there was a little bit of y'all kidnapping me, but also y'all's girlfriends at the time didn't like her.
Yeah.
Maybe because they sensed that she was kind of
Just
whatever.
much.
But I remember because we went to one part. It was a party at your wifey's old house or something like that. And I remember her just being like, I don't feel welcome here. Like, they're not nice to me.
Ooh.
They're not being whatever. So like, I think that was kind of it at that point. I was like, well, if you're not comfortable, what can I do, right?
Well, you know, our buddy of ours, another one of our friends, I'm just going to give out a random ass name here. The Carpenter, right? El Carpenter must.
El Carpenter.
El Carpenter.
How do you say carpenter?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just going to say El Carpenter.
El Carpenter.
His girlfriends never liked any of us either. I mean, because we're obnoxious guys. I mean, let's be honest. We're kind of a bit much.
Speak for yourself. I'm just a dick.
And before all this dad stuff, I would also like to say that we were very forward, very stubborn.
What do you mean by we were forward?
So what I feel like personally is I think after becoming dads, you slow down, obviously, right?
It's because the children are vampires and they take your energy.
They suck everything from you, right? They really do. It's true. But you also take less risks. You also
100%.
slow down a lot because now you're thinking about them. They've got no choice, right? They've got no choice in who their parents are. And we all understand that. So there's like this slow burn of making decisions based off of that understanding that they're now depending on you.
Well, an extreme example, right? Now, disclaimer, nobody should ever do this, but I'll say, I guarantee both of us have at some point during our college years drove drunk from somewhere.
I could agree with that.
As much as I hate to admit it, we've all done it, right?
Yeah.
I would never do that shit now. The cost-benefit analysis on that I have to do now as a father doesn't come out. And the cost-benefit analysis to society in general, right? Like, there are so many other options that I don't need to do that now, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But as a stupid, I'm a mortal teenager, like you're a young 20-year-old, you're like, I can do anything. I'm the best. You know, like, no, you don't care. You don't think about the consequences.
That is true. And there is an aspect of it where it's not just going from dad or non-dad to dad. Yeah. There is an aspect of it that's just you're getting older, you're getting smarter, and you're understanding how the world works.
No, not necessarily.
You don't think so?
No, because I know people our age that still act like they're freaking in their 20s.
Well, yeah, you're going to have those people, but in general, you get older regardless of whether
in general, yeah. I mean...
And you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, but not everybody does that. There's some people who emotionally and mentally stunt at a certain age.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. But like, listen to when we were talking to CK Prep and just offhandedly having those conversations, and he was like, yeah, I'm a different guy now.
Yeah.
Like, he said that like 5 times.
He's like, oh, I can't do that no more.
Yeah, no, I'm
or when we were telling a story and his wife was looking at it, and he was like, but that was back then. That's not me.
That was 2007.
But you know what? We kind of got off a little, and this was all related, but I was asking you to kind of explain what you mean by that we were forward.
Yeah. So, and it's kind of this thing that's been somewhat nagging at me lately.
Nag.
And it's not my wife, really quick, but I'll be honest with you, wifey's really good about nagging me. I don't get nagged, not anymore. We've gone through that already.
Well, you guys have been together long enough that at this point, she probably realizes nagging doesn't do
it doesn't
shit.
Help. If anything, it makes
because
things worse.
I feel like I've been married forever, but you've been married forever.
Going on 15 years in a couple of weeks.
Bruh, you've been married almost half your life.
Yeah.
If it's going on 15 years, you've been married a little, like 17% of your life.
We're 35.
No, wait. I can't do math. Where did I get 17%? Where did I get 17%? That doesn't make sense.
It's 43%.
It's like 42. Yeah, 43. Yeah. Where did I get 17? What math was I doing?
But yeah, it's been a while. So 42%.
42% of your life.
My life has been married. Holy shit, that's a long ass time. Oh my god.
Y'all can't see this. His eyes literally went wide. Like as he said 42%, his eyes shot open like the back of his head calculated it as he said it.
So, but me and wifey didn't have any kids until 4 years after. So we had a good amount of time being young people, being married, having fun, going partying, that sort of stuff. And before the kids came around, I took a lot more risks. You were even mentioning it earlier that I had started and failed a lot of different businesses.
Yeah, I mentioned that in passing, but you have, yeah.
That same guy, that was pre-kids. I had nothing. And I was willing to risk a lot just to try anything.
You know, it's interesting you're saying that because I was actually talking about this yesterday with the wife because we were talking about like passive income and what we're going to do and all this.
Yeah, all that adult stuff. Shit. Yeah.
And you came up, you and our buddy Fantasia.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mentioned how you and him basically changed jobs. You change jobs like every 2 years.
Yep.
You change every 2 to 3. He changes every 3 to 4. And y'all have been jumping up that way. And I'm like, I couldn't be like y'all. Y'all take a lot more risks than I do, which is funny because even now you take less risks than you used to because you would be the guy who would start, 4, 5, 6 companies in a year. All of them fail. And then I remember asking you one time at an event we were at, I was like, bro, what are you going to do if you ain't got, like, well, I don't know. Then I don't got a job. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
You'll still jump jobs like every 3 years now, but you make sure you got a job, right? You're never going to be in that situation where like, oh, I don't got a job. Oh, well.
Yeah, I can't do that. And
yeah,
the thing is
hold that. I mentioned Fantasia. With him, he used to make big gambles on the stock market.
I remember that.
When I say big gambles, homeboy was losing, gaining and losing anywhere from like $5,000 to $15,000, $20,000 at a time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then he had the kids, and his wife's like, "You're done.
Yeah,
I have the keys to the accounts.
Yeah,
you ain't touching nothing."
And then those accounts are for who? His kids.
Yep. And I talked to him about it the other day. I was like, "Yo, you want to get back into this?" He was like, "Yeah, I can't do it."
Yeah.
He was like, "I would like to, but if I did, I'd be like, yo, let's push 100 grand." And he's like, "I can't do that."
Yeah, and even when you talk to him and you're like, and he talks about, oh yeah, having this money put off to the side. Yeah, we got, there's shmoney, but that's not my shmoney. That's
Exactly.
the kids' shmoney.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, like that sucks because when you think about it from a business mindset, it's like you could do something with that.
Oh yeah.
But then where's the safety net?
Yep. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but we mentioned him, and he was a good example of that too, of a guy who like used to be like, "Yo, I'm a risk it for the biscuit," and now he's like, "The juice isn't worth the squeeze."
The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Yeah.
And
I'm not disagreeing with that thought process either, because you have to set something up for them. You got to make sure that there's something there for them. I mean, I personally don't plan on leaving my kids that much when I go off to the great beyond, when I get mega oofed. I don't know. I don't have those plans.
Oof. Dude, how are we supposed to have a serious conversation? You say, "I'm going to go to the mega oof, great beyond." That great game over screen in the sky. All right, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
It was hard to be serious when you're like that. Great. Oof.
It's okay. It's hardwired in me because I talk like that now. Whenever I talk about somebody dying or passing on, I always mention oof because of the goddamn kids.
The kids.
Yeah. You change your vernacular.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's all related.
So yeah, so we definitely take less risks. There's definitely that loss of, I guess, where you're willing to risk it for the biscuit.
Because it's no longer...
It's not just about you
anymore.
It's
no longer your life to gamble on its own.
And even then, even when you're with your wife, right? Let's say you're together and there's no kids involved, you can still kind of risk it because she's another adult and she can risk it all too, or she could play it safe too.
Well, even when you're married, right? You got no kids. You can risk it on whatever you want to risk it on, right?
Yeah.
You want to risk your money? Cool. You want to risk your house? Cool. You want to risk your marriage by cheating? Cool. You don't got kids.
Right.
Yeah, you made a commitment, but in the end, you're two adults. You know,
Less going
the only
on.
people that are going to get hurt are you and your partner.
Right.
When you're looking at it from the point of view of now parents, like, yeah, who cares, right? Like, oh my God, should I break up with her? Should I not break up with her? Well, if you're asking the question, then it doesn't matter because it's not like you have anything tied together. Yeah, there's going to be some emotional pain, but guess what? Who cares?
Who cares? It's still,
Right?
you're an adult. You can handle it.
You have nothing that's anchoring you to the person.
Yeah.
Even marriage, right? In this day and age,
You'll be
you got
fine.
people that are married for like a week.
I mean,
What was it? Kim Kardashian was married for like a week at one point or some shit like that.
I don't keep up with that shit, but I believe it.
You don't keep up with the Kardashians.
Zing.
Bazinga.
Bazinga. I don't keep up with the Kardashians at all.
Yeah, me neither. I just remember that was like a meme. Like one of them was married for like a week.
I had a bunch of buddies that all went into the army at around the same time, and they ended up getting married real quick. And guess what?
All
Getting divorced real quick. Anyway, to go back to what we were saying about taking risks, right?
That is taking a risk.
That is very much taking a risk. That is very much on topic. Getting married right off the bat. And, you know, these guys met their wives like 3 months prior.
Most of these guys were getting married at like 18, 19,
19 years old.
Like, I just met this girl and I'm going on deployment. I love her.
No. And I got married at 20, which was kind of...
Yeah, but you were dating her since 16.
Yeah, but I think back on it now. If number one came to me and was like, I love this girl, I want to get married to her right now, and he was 20 years old, I'd be like, are you fucking stupid? and this is where, because I got married so early, I got married at 20, I kind of want to ask you your opinion too, because you had a little bit more time as a fully functioning adult.
Okay.
Before you had your kids. You had the house, you were married, you had your life set up, and...
Not as much.
Okay. Maybe not, you know.
Well, the reason I say that is because everyone's like, first you get married, then you get the house, then you have a baby. Literally a year after getting the house, it was like, we're pregnant.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
You did it in...
I just hated that everybody was right.
Yeah, you did it in the preordained sequence because you have a boner for that shit. You love doing things the correct way.
Hey,
Meanwhile,
I feel insulted.
No, I like insulting you and people in general with compliments. Like, I'm saying nice things, but I say it in an insulting way.
Hey, yo, you look so stupid being all hot and shit.
Yeah, I say that shit all the time. I got a buddy of mine that he's like ripped as shit. He's in his 40s. He's like in great shape. And I'm like, oh, look at Mr. Muscle Man over here with his great cardiovascular health and his clear arteries. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, Papi Shampoo, you're looking great in your mid-40s. Oh.
I don't even know where to go from that. So let's just circle back around to the main topic.
I'm making a point here. Anyway. So, and I really want to kind of leverage your thoughts on this because I did things in a different way, right? I got married early. Essentially, I was a kid.
Dude, you got married so early, we legally could not drink at your wedding.
Yeah, we couldn't drink at my wedding.
We got shit-faced.
But we couldn't. We shouldn't have. Besides the point. Thinking back on it now, it's like I was really young, but having a kid at 24 was kind of normal, you know?
So yeah, I think I get what you're asking, right? And
Yeah.
I'll weigh on it from two different perspectives. I love Lola and I love Chi-Chi and I love my life. Part of me really regrets waiting so long to have kids.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 35 and Lola's turning 3.
Yeah.
I had my first child at 32? 30, conceived at 31. That's for Puerto Rican, right? And I don't even mean this in a funny like
a little outside the norm.
Yeah, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird at that age. You know, you got like a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Am I lying?
You're not.
Like my mom had me at 21, bro. Like,
Yeah.
so it felt weird because I always said I wanted to have a kid before I was 30, right? It just never happened. You know, I'm not going to be that young parent. When Lola is 21, I'm going to be what's 17 years from now? I'll be 52.
Yeah. That's still young.
The average life expectancy for a Hispanic male is 65 to 67.
My dude, but you're out here doing all those push-ups and you're out here doing
don't
all those
mean that I don't got
pull-ups.
Fucking a clogged hose for arteries.
You
all them
changes,
rice and
man.
beans catch up, bro. We talked about this.
I know, but we need you out here, and you're out here eating air fried. You're out here eating air fried grilled cheeses. You'll be fine.
Those fucking hard ass crispy grilled cheeses. But yeah, so I kind of regret it, right? But at the same time, I am so happy that I had my kids when I did because I feel so secure.
Yeah.
Like, we're comfortable right now. And I know they say never get comfortable, but for our kids not being in school yet, being able to be home, having a job that I know well enough that I'm able to be home and take care of my family and stuff like that, it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm okay with it. I don't feel the need to extend myself or risk it for the biscuit at this point in time. And so that's nice. It's nice being at that point in my life where I can have the nice house and I can be like, you know what? I want to buy another mic so we can have a third person for the podcast. I want to buy Lola I was looking at fake campfire set for her because I put the teepee in the living room the other day and she took my flashlight and was like, Daddy, I'm lighting a campfire. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy her a campfire on Amazon. Like, I like being at a level where I can do that. 5 years ago, I couldn't do that. 10 years ago, I definitely couldn't do that. 10 years ago, I could barely fucking pay rent, you know? So I'm at a level now where I'm secure enough where I can be comfortable and not have to exert myself and be able to raise these kids at a level of comfort that I never had growing up. I mean, there was times where I was growing up where we ate hamburger helper for months on end.
Yeah.
You know, pobre comida, you know?
Yeah, same for me. It was spaghetti.
Yeah.
It's spaghetti like
spaghetti constantly. Was fancy if we had that.
Bro.
Spaghetti, you got to pay for the sausage.
No, spaghetti with sauce, dude. No sausage in that shit.
You didn't even have the bolognese sauce. You just had the marinara. Yeah, so like, while part of me misses the fact that I didn't have kids younger at a more understandable age where I'd be like closer to your age now, you're going to be a lot younger when your oldest is done. Yeah. Like, you can have a totally different relationship being younger than I'll have.
Yeah, we go out, we play basketball together, we do boxing together.
I'm literally having to keep myself in shape now just to keep up with these kids.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because, you know, we're at that age where we stand up and we go,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, when you were raising number one, you could probably do backflips if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So yeah, part of that bugs me, but on the hand of it, like, the guy I was back then had more fun for himself, but would not have been the father I am now.
Good point.
You know,
see, I'm kind of coming from the opposite side of it. You know, when number one came along, and I think I've spoken about this before, we had nothing. We
you literally had nothing.
We had nothing. I was making $6 an hour as a Papa John's, and
they were ripping you off.
They were ripping me off.
We've come to this conclusion that you were being paid under minimum wage.
And when number one was born, I had no job. I was jobless.
That's right.
I was jobless for almost a full year. I was doing anything and everything I could get my hands on to put money together.
But what's funny is you were still young enough that you were in the mindset where it's like, well, if this doesn't work, I'll do something else.
Right. But I was taking that pre-kid mindset and trying to apply it
to having a kid.
And it really fucked me up, man. Like, thinking about it, if the kid wasn't part of the equation and I was jobless during that time, I wouldn't have dropped 80 pounds of stress weight. It just wouldn't have happened. I was freaking out and stressing myself out because that kid was there.
Yeah.
And I took I took a job, what started me in the industry that I'm in right now. The job I took, I was getting underpaid by almost half. My peers were getting paid double what I was getting paid. And my boss was pretty transparent about that. She was like, you've got no experience. You've got nothing to your name. I shouldn't give you this job, but guess what? I'm going to underpay you. And if you're willing to accept that and learn, And she looked at me in the eye and she said, if you do not pan out, I'm getting rid of you in 3 months. And thinking back on that now, that was a big risk for me.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Just her saying, like, you will be out of here if you cannot perform. But I was desperate.
But you know what? It worked for you.
Well, it did. It paid off.
And can I go on a tiny tangent? It really doesn't have that much to do, but it ties into what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We've joked around a lot that like you fell ass backwards into your job, and then
I did though.
Fell ass backwards upwards for a while.
Yeah.
But I was actually discussing this with the wife the other day. I don't think it was as ass backwards as you think it is. And maybe this is something we talk about in more detail later. But you, personality wise, while you think you may have fallen ass backwards, you have two things going for you. You're a super personable person, but you're also lucky. And I don't mean lucky in the way like throw a dice and you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky in a way that like if all else being equal, you were like it was between you and somebody else and there was nothing different. Your amicableness and your personality
pushes me over the edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gives you like this almost intangible edge, right? Like there's no reason to hire you, but because you're the guy that like is like, hey,
what's up? Smiling, big smile, laughing, you know. All that.
So you're infectious,
stand out.
Yeah, but it's not even like it's always a happy guy. Like you stand out even if you're not, even if you're just presenting yourself professionally, just because you're outgoing.
Right.
It creates luck for you. So that had nothing to do with either here or there. It was just because we were talking about your job that it came to me.
But thank you for bringing that up because it does tie into what I'm saying. Actually, dun dun gasp.
I kind of hear how you do this.
Yeah, because that has always been how I was, right? That was always me. I was always like that. You know, I would get lucky, always personable and all that stuff. Now that the 3 kids are around, now that the house is there, now that all these responsibilities have piled up, there's this nagging at me. And this is what I was getting to before. Thank you for adding on to that. There's this nagging at me that I'm withdrawing personally. I think I'm withdrawing and I'm losing a little bit of that personality that I've displayed before.
You
that
know,
pre-dad personality that was out there. It. You know what I mean?
I could see it. You never in your life ever looked tired.
Yeah.
You always were able to put on a good face. And I see you now sometimes and you look tired. You look exhausted. And you don't act it, but you look it.
Yeah.
And I can see how that can kind of affect that natural,
it's there,
amicable luck that you have.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, stupid examples. Instead of speaking up in a meeting, which will end up becoming more work and a bigger thing and this other thing and this other thing, there's this idea that stay in the comfort zone, leave it off. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be cool. But I feel like me personally, I'm losing a bit of my edge. I'm kind of softening out. And I'm letting myself sink into this comfortableness. Like how you were saying, you know,
you find that comfortable zone and you kind of sink into it.
Comfort zone, you sink into it. Everything's fine. Everything, the balances are budget.
There's no reason to rock the boat.
You don't have to rock the boat. Stay where you are. Stay the course.
And that's not a bad thing, but sometimes it could be.
So it isn't. And there's plenty of people who operate in a way that
that's my comfort zone, operating like that.
Yeah,
you know, because I'm risk averse.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. But pre-dad me was not like that.
No.
And the thing and the reason why I'm bringing it up and kind of asking you, and this isn't something that I know the answer to. I really don't know. We don't have all the answers.
Ask the great Zoltan.
Yeah.
I will give you the answer.
I want to talk through it. It's mainly because there's something in the back of my mind that is making me uncomfortable.
I can see where you're coming from with that.
And I can't shake it. And there, you know, when you lay everything out and you put it in a list and you logically think through it, you look at it and you say, I should be fine. I should be good. Looking at my budget, looking at this job I have right now, looking at the things I'm doing right now, I'm fine and I could stay the course. We could put money away for the kids. We could pay off our debts. We could do this. We could do that. All these things are possible, even if I stay where I'm at right now and I do the same thing for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
But there's something in me that is bugging me. And that friend that I was just talking about, the 40-year-old muscular Papi Shampoo guy, he makes more money.
Why is he Papi Shampoo?
Because he's ripped as shit and he's like...
Oh, okay.
He's a good-looking guy. Colombian, you know? And it's funny because I'll get into a little bit of me and him, our relationship together.
Well, before you do that, can I kind of respond to you?
Yeah.
So I 100% get where you're coming from on this, and it's something I've noticed in myself. But I'm coming from it in a different kind of point of view because I don't feel as disappointed in myself because becoming a father has made me feel more fulfilled than I have in my life. But I have obviously changed from the person who I was.
Yeah.
I was in college. I was Rican.
Yeah.
That was me. That was my pledge name, Rican, the freaking Rican. And I was a force of nature.
Right.
People would be like, yo, did you go to Rican's room? Those Jolly Rancher shots, yo, they wrecked my life.
Yeah.
I partied harder than I ever have, right? And that guy has disappeared. My Friday nights are sitting on the couch with my wife. She's scrolling through like Pinterest trying to find shirts to make for the girls. And I'm like either playing the PlayStation or like looking up YouTube videos on how to audio edit and stuff like that, right? Like that's my Friday nights now. So for a while, it's been bothering me like it has with you. And even before all of this, it started when I got the house. My exhaust valve on this was I created another persona.
Mm-hmm.
I got a fox mask for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I started wearing it to the neighborhood parties. And when I put the mask on, I wasn't a dad anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't a homeowner. I was Rican evolved.
All right.
I was partying, dancing, talking to everybody. Good time. I was drinking all the drinks. You need somebody to twerk? I'm twerking. You need somebody to jump on a table? I'm jumping on a table. You need somebody to disco dance in the middle of the road? I'm doing it. The fox did it all. And that became my release valve. But after a while, I was like, why? Like, it's weird that I have to create a totally separate persona in order to kind of feel alive.
Right. To get that back.
Yeah. And I've been trying to find a way to like synthesize that with being a father.
Exactly. So that's the point that I want to ask, or that I wanted to bring up, right? There is a certain oomph, something, a driving force from when you were a younger guy, from when you had nothing to lose, and when it was really you kind of against the world sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Before all the responsibilities start weighing you down.
I think to go back 2 episodes, it goes almost back to our primal masculinity.
Yeah.
Like that me and me alone, me against the world.
The competition, the aggression, there's something in there.
So as corny as it sounds, you've seen the knife that I carry around with me, right?
Yeah.
It has a screwdriver on it and a bottle opener, all that, and it's box open.
Yeah, it's like a Swiss Army
knife.
It's
It's a silly little utility knife. It's got a driver on it, a bottle opener, this and that. It's nothing special.
But you bring it out every occasion you can.
I do.
Yeah.
And having this thing, knowing that at any point in time, I can cut a box, I can cut this, even for protection, I can use it. Yeah. Even though it's literally just a box cutter, it's like one of those replaceable blades that I put in there. Something about having this kind of recovers some of that like me against the world for me. Like it's like this is a little bit of independence. You need a bottle opened, I got it. You need something cut, I got it. There's so many things I fix where I just pop out my knife, put the driver in, and pop, fix a screw here or there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and having that brings a little of that,
You fixed like a thing on my fence one day. Like
I did.
There was a screw loose, and you were just like,
I fixed it. Yeah. when I went into piss in the conservation area, and the way back in, I was like, oh, this is loose, and I popped it out and fixed it. But yeah, having this kind of, it's weird, right? It's the little things, but it kind of gives me a little bit of that me against the world.
Yeah.
That missing wildness.
Yeah, I like to call it the oomph. I don't know what it is, right?
So the oomph is when you die, but the oomph is what we're missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The oomph from us men, from us dads, seems to get eroded over time after being a dad?
Well, I think it's because there's this whole evolutionary biology thing where like we're meant to be these hunter-gatherers out there killing and tracking and doing all this, right? But we're also meant to be the provider and the protector of the clan, the tribe. So I think there's this competing drive. You know that there's two wolves inside of you thing. Like I think there's this competing drive of like wanting to be the loner out there, just me against the world, but also the guy who's like, this is my cave. I protect my cave. And I think kind of a little bit of that conflict.
Yeah, how do we reconcile that?
Yeah, I think that weird middle space in between that conflict is where we kind of fall apart. And in this modern day and age where there's really no, you're the lone wolf out there for like regular dudes like us.
I think it works. I think it works though. Like, so to that point, there are a lot of things that I like to push off and procrastinate on because I don't want to deal with it. And there's
lazy motherfucker.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that I know need to be done. And sometimes in order to motivate myself, in order to get these things done, I think like Uncle Barbarian.
My father.
Yes, your father. I'll think Uncle Conan the Barbarian, and I'll be like, crush your enemies, and hear the lamentations of their women.
Conan,
yeah.
What is best in life?
What is best in life? No, but seriously, like, and it's applied to stupid shit. You know?
Well, it's crazy, right, that you say that because for a long time I struggled with a lot of stuff in my life until I listened to advice that I got from my dad and advice that I got from my stepfather, who both of them are pretty basic masculine type dudes. And I don't mean basic in an insulting way. Basic as in they're not thinking about their masculinity. They're not thinking about this or that. They're just like, I am who I am.
Yeah.
So like,
at least as far as we know.
Yeah. If they wear tutus when we're not around, who knows?
Oh,
but so for a while I was actually worried about financials, my debt, because I was in a lot of debt because of private college, and I was delaying my life. And my dad was like, "Yo, I don't know why you working this shitty job." I was like, "Well, it pays the bills right now, and I can't get anything else because I don't got my degree." Blah, blah, blah. He's like, "So what?" I was like, "What do you mean, so what?" He was like, "Just make more money." I'm like, "What do you mean? I got bills I got to pay, so that's why I got to do this job." He was like, "Quit your job and get a job that makes more money." I'm like, "It's not that simple." He was like, "Joey, make more money." That's it. That was his advice.
Yeah.
And then my stepdad was just like, "Oh, why don't you want to buy a house now?" "Oh, well, we got to save. We got to do this. And I have debts I got to pay." He was like, "So what?" "Well, I got to, I can't do anything until I pay these debts." He was like, "You're going to be in debt for the rest of your life." I was like, "Yeah, so I got to pay my debts." He was like, "The system is designed for you to be in debt." He's like, "You're going to be in debt. Why are you not living your life?"
Yeah.
Just live your life. So it's like they're coming from two ends of it, but they both came with that very basic,
essentially saying the same thing.
Do it.
Just do it.
Like Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. That's essentially, they boiled down to saying just do it.
Yeah, and that, Uncle Conan the Barbarian shit that I tell myself is in order to get me to just do it. What is my enemy right now? What is the enemy that I have to crush right now? Oh, I have to send this email about this thing that is a very sensitive topic because nobody wants to hear about this. Well, crush that enemy. Crush that enemy. That is it. And it tricks my brain into actually getting shit done that needs to be done and stop withdrawing from myself. But I feel like that's like a Band-Aid, It
is. And actually, you know how a lot of people like video games are for kids, right?
Yeah.
Part of why I play video games is because when I'm playing Elden Ring, when I'm playing Final Fantasy, something like that, I get to be an absolute fucking unit.
Yeah.
Just stomping shit, right?
Mm.
And by taking out some of that aggression there and then working out and doing whatever else as well, I can then go back to work and be like, I'm good, right? Like I got some of that aggression out, but it's a Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid.
So, and I've been struggling with the same thing for a while, right? Because I was this maniac.
Right.
And then I met my wife and then I had kids and now I'm not that maniac and I created the fox, but the fox can only come out every now and then.
It's a supplemental.
Yeah, it's like
Rican Joey.
Exactly.
Rican bananas.
It's like Rican light.
Yeah.
It's like Dos Plátanos light. But yeah, so it's a Band-Aid, right? The Fox is like a Rican light, and Rican is like what I could have been. That was my raw, wild me.
Right.
So I've been thinking about that. What it all boils down to, what Rican is, what the Fox is. And I think for you too, what's missing is when we were our freest, when we were us, the true us, discovering ourselves in college and just living life, we were on the hunt.
Yeah.
We were savage men.
Yeah, we were hunting
looking
for something.
for a woman.
We were the challengers. We were out there fighting against something. We were the underdogs.
We were fighting the world and other men to find, because let's be honest, it all boils down to finding a woman.
Yeah.
Right? But we have a woman. We won.
Yeah. Now we're in protector mode.
We won. So now we're in that like downturn. And, you know, some men hit that point where like now it's divorce and stuff like that. And then that creates, now they go into their Sigma grind and they become that badass. And they work out and they start dating. And then they get their Jay Pritchett revival, right? I don't think we need to go that far. So but I was thinking about it. I was putting it in my brain. I was like, you know what we should do? We should get the crew, the high school crew. And I told the wife this. We get the crew. All the girls go to somebody's house. Let's say they all go to y'all's house. And then all the guys come to my house. And then we're like, all right, we're going to meet up downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to be on the hunt. We have to find the girls. And when we find them, we got to convince them to dance with us, and to let us buy them a drink, to go home with us. And they don't got to. At the end of the night, they can be like, oh, yeah, I wasn't really feeling you. Yeah, we drive home with them because they're our wives or whatever. But like,
all pissed off.
We lose, right? Or we could be like, hey, let's get a spot. And then we got babysitters for the night, so you get a hotel.
Yeah.
You win.
I like that idea, though.
Right?
That sounds like really a lot of fun.
And as I was describing that to her, I kind of realized, I was like, that's why people role play.
Yeah.
That's why people do stuff like that, because it's like it reactivating that. So for us, if we were to do that, I feel like that would reactivate that hunter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take you home.
Right.
What's up? You know,
like there's an opportunity there where you can say no because my game wasn't on point.
Yeah, because you can either go home and then you go home and you wash the dishes and you put the clothes in,
do regular
or
shit.
you could be like, well, we got a babysitter, so you trying to go to the hotel room?
Yeah.
You trying to go to that Holiday Inn? Yeah. What you doing?
The 201
Radisson. We'll tell that story one day.
One day.
But yeah, like, and I think it's crazy, right? That like that young, powerful, strong us that changed when we became a father. I think that's just because we won. We're that caveman who took down the mammoth.
Yeah, and we're getting fat off of its meat.
Yeah.
We're sitting there getting fat off of its meat.
We're the old silverback.
Yeah.
Right? The old silverback who's sitting there while the young silverbacks are training and be like, yo, I'm going to take that motherfucker out.
And you know what?
I think kick him off the mountain.
What I was going to say before about the Papi Shampoo guy.
Papi Shampoo.
The Papi Shampoo guy makes sense for this too, because he has been he's always a hungry guy. The guy used to work for me. He used to report to me. And
really?
And now he's making 50% more than I do, almost double what I do. Yeah. And I don't make bad money, but the guy's been...
You make money.
Yeah. I don't make bad money, but the guy has had an awesome trajectory because he's just hungry.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're not.
And he's going for it, and I got complacent, and I'm happy for him. We still hang out. We do stuff all the time. But even still, he's got the same uncomfortableness that I do at this point in time.
Even though he's a hungry dude?
Even though he's hungry, even though he's been reaching for the stars, and now people are telling him, slow down, get comfortable. You're in a good spot. You're making a lot of money. You're doing great. He's doing awesome. And when I was talking to him last time, hanging out, we hung out a couple weeks ago, and he's got the same uncomfortableness. And to me, in my mind, I'm like, you're just as hungry as I am. You're exhibiting that same.
But you said he's in his 40s, right?
He's in his 40s.
He's think older. Okay. So I think part of that is as we age, and I'm going to sound like a fucking commercial right now from a washed out football star.
Oh, no.
But as we age, I'm sorry, ad.
It's not commercials anymore. Stop it. You got to give it the times, man.
But as we age, our free testosterone starts to wane. And we've said it before, testosterone's a hell of a drug. And I think part of that hunter drive is testosterone.
The oomph.
And I think as we start to lose it, we feel like we're missing it. That we feel that lost youth, that lost, like, yo, where's that hungry dude? Where's that dude who'd be like, yo, let's go. To take an example of when I was the young dude reeking in college, like, yo, let's build a potato cannon and then fire it in the hallway. But my dumbass was like, wait. If we fire it in the hallway, the smoke will set off the smoke detectors. Oh, you're right. What should we do? Well, first of all, we need a target. So let's stack up all these empty bottles into a pyramid and we'll fire it at that wall of glass. Bet. Good idea. Second of all, what if I stand in the middle of the hallway, take my shirt off, and put it over the detector, and then you just fire around me? And every single one of us thought that was an awesome idea. So that young, dumb, testosterone-fueled guy is gone.
But how do you take that energy? How do you take that oomph from then and then use the knowledge and the experience and the wisdom that you have now to direct it into something that will continually get you those wins that you're looking for?
Do you want to know the answer?
What's up?
I just found the answer literally 2 seconds ago. This is how.
What?
This podcast.
Podcasting? They were
not just podcasting.
Endeavors.
Finding an endeavor, a project that you can invest in, that you create, and it gives you a sense of underdogness. Because right now we're underdogs, bro.
Definitely underdogs.
And I'm clawing day and night, editing and telling you to pimp us out and all that. It feels like a fight.
Yeah.
Every time I sit down to edit, I'm like, yo, I gotta do this. Let's go. This is it. We gotta get it right.
Right.
I think that's what it is. You find something that you feel like you need to fight to get it where you need to go. And when you do that, you resurrect that spark. You resurrect that last bit of testosterone. That hunter-gatherer who hasn't won yet, who's out there still fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
You know? I think once you find that, that's where you get that other part of you fulfilled. And now you might want to still blow off some steam left and right by, like, trying to pick up your wife again or going out to a party and doing stuff like that. But that hunting drive,
the oomph,
finding an endeavor, that oomph, not the oof,
the oomph.
That endeavor is where it's at. Now it could be something like this, a podcast, or it could be for our homeboy, El Carpenter. Oh my God.
I know, right?
I can't even pronounce anymore. I mean, I wasn't the best Spanish speaker in ever.
In the biz, me neither.
But I think having an endeavor like that, like El Carpenter, he likes UFC. And him and our other buddy, Rubber Man, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely I do. Super flexible guy.
Yeah. They like to do UFC. That's their thing. That's where they recover it. Like, that's their way of that testosterone fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody finds their own way. And I think for us right now, it's this. Or at least for me, because I know when I'm doing all this stuff for us, I'm fighting to, like, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be successful. You know,
you put in a lot of work in this.
Yeah.
I really do.
I try. I know for you've been doing a lot of working out. So, like, I've started working out again, but you've been doing it hard.
Yeah.
So I think for you, that's you're trying to fight. You're trying to catch up to old you. You're trying to catch up to the dude who Mr. 450 sent flying.
And to that point, and I appreciate you bringing this up because it really opens my eyes to stuff. To that point, the working out is really a Band-Aid. I've been treating it as a Band-Aid. I've been thinking to myself that if I get to Man Meat Mountain, if I become Beef O'Brady's.
How am I supposed to take you seriously when you say Man Meat Mountain?
Because that's what I want to be.
All right. I thought you want the Shrek with the thoughty booty.
That once I become buff ass Shrek with the thoughty booty, everything's gonna fall into place. And I'm lying to myself. That's not the case. It's a part of it, but there's an attitude adjustment that comes with it. It's not just the physical part of it. It's not just that. Yeah. That oomph isn't just gonna come back if I sit here and I do the same workouts every day and I work towards it. I mean, I'm on a plateau right now and really fighting forward, moving past the next stage because I've fought off that initial 30 pounds that I've lost. You know, I'm
And
in a
now
better
you're at a
shape,
comfy spot.
and I'm in a comfy spot, and I've been there for months. And maybe some of that uncomfortableness isn't just related to my job, my career. Maybe it is related to the fact that I'm at a plateau.
I think as men and as fathers, it all ties together, right? Because I think that switch to becoming a father puts you into protector mode.
Yeah.
And the protector isn't out there chasing prey.
All right.
The protector's standing by the fire. The protector started a tribe, and now he has other people getting the food for him. Yeah.
Your job is to make everything comfy, because you need everything to be comfy so that everybody is protected, everybody's safe. Your drive is in that uncomfortable zone, and they clash almost.
I wonder if this is a problem that previous generations of fathers didn't have, and previous generations of men, because we've reached a point in our society where we're very civilized, right? But in nature, there's always a younger male ready to take you out. You get the older lions who get kicked out because the young male lions who form a gang, because they're not allowed in the pride, eventually one of them gets strong enough and comes up and was like, yo, I'm gonna fucking take your women, and then I'm gonna kill your kids and make my own kids.
Right.
Same thing with the gorillas, right? As modern civilized men, there really isn't that threat anymore. I mean, yeah, there's always the threat of Jody coming in and taking your wife. But if you've chosen right and you're not mistreating your wife, that's not really that much of a threat.
I would respectfully disagree.
Fuck you.
Yeah. So first point, I think that older generations did have to deal with this, but they dealt with it in silence. I think a lot of older men were miserable because they knew that oomph, that drive was leaving them. They felt it, but there was nothing they could do about it.
Phoenix Wright, objection.
Okay, go for it.
Because our generation is one of the least likely generations to cheat.
Right.
That's how they dealt with it.
They cheated on their wives.
Yes, they got back out there on the hunt.
Right.
They regained that manhood.
Because they needed to.
That's why so many of our ancestors had kids by different...
Yeah.
And not just the men. My grandmother had 9 kids, 8 or 9 kids by 3 different men. And come to find out, my great-grandmother had like 10 kids by 3 different men.
Yeah. Wifey's grandmother was in the same boat.
You know, whether they were men or women, ancestors were out there being like, I'm going to find myself that hunt again. We're in a generation that's more emotional.
Yeah.
And I think it started with our parents' generation, the Gen X.
Gen X.
I think it started with them. They were more emotional. Therapy was more of a thing. So I think we're at a generation now where we're less likely to cheat.
Mm.
We'll feel more guilty stepping out. When in the past, it was almost like it was expected. Like the wives knew. And as long as you didn't bring your mistress along, and you know you kept your stepping outside of your marriage, everybody acted like nothing was going on.
Right. So
that's how you got it.
I do agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. I do think that there was some measure of miserableness. I will stick to that. But you're probably right. That hunt was the cheating, the running around, the gallivanting that all those old generation men used to do. It probably did satisfy that urge.
Yeah, because then all of them became hunters,
right,
while at the same time being the guy who's trying to protect. My wife's not going to be the one cheating. My wife's not going to be the one having an affair, while he was out there doing it to some other guy.
Yeah.
You know, so I think those previous generations, it was more of a thing that happened. But, and this is just my theory, I think it's cycles. Because I think in older generations, that shit wasn't happening. In older generations that were coming back from major wars and stuff like that, where the men and the women are both harder. And ain't nobody stepping out because it's like, yo, I got too much on my plate. I'm just trying to survive and not get dysentery, right?
True.
So why am I going to cheat on you? Because I can cheat on you and my dick falls off from chlamydia, you know? And then you get to softer areas where, you know, there's not that threat and guys are starting to feel like us and kind of losing that vibe. And so then they were like, well, I'm going to go on the hunt again. And then you go back to harder areas because there's wars and stuff like that. And maybe now it's the wives that are cheating because all the men are gone. And then you get to times like ours where we're more in tune with emotions for both men and women. So we're less likely to cheat, but then we feel like we're missing something.
Yeah.
And we don't know we put Band-Aids on it. You do woodworking, you do stuff like this, you find endeavors, and they might work. You know, like for me, this is at least making me feel good and raising my kids too. So now I got that protector of raising my kids, but also that hunter of I'm hunting for that, like that
extra, that's something different,
that
new
win
thing
in this podcasting zone. Yeah, right. But for some men, that's not enough. And I think that's why you get men that are now checking out of the grind and they just want to be, I'm on that Sigma grind set, because now they're forever hunters. They're forever wolves out there.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is more money, more women, more this.
But that fucking sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks in its own
I
way.
think at that point you're neglecting the second wolf, the two wolves,
the protector
inside
wolf.
of you.
Yeah, the two wolves. I'm gonna call it that from now on.
It's
the two wolf theory.
Yeah.
There's the hunter wolf and the protector wolf.
Yeah. The Sasuke and the Naruto. The Vegeta and the Goku. Oh my God, is this like a thing that we've never noticed?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like there's an aspect to that for our generation specifically that social media fucks with it too. It fucks with the two wolves.
Social media is the worst thing to ever exist. Follow us on social media.
Go ahead, plug the social media.
I'll plug it at the end. But social media is one of the worst things that ever exists because it creates this false illusion that we're all trying to live up to that nobody can.
Right.
And it also emasculates us a little bit.
Yeah, because doesn't it fuck with the hunter wolf in some sense?
I feel like, at least for me, you see all these other hunter wolves out there
Yeah.
doing the hunter thing. And then you're sitting there posting, look at my daughter. I'm painting her nails. It's like,
you're there being like,
am I a bitch?
Yeah, you're there being the nice cozy protector wolf.
Am I soft?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I think social media in a lot of ways. Ooh,
is that another topic?
That's another topic.
Social media and
Daddy
dadism.
and social media.
Yeah.
But I think social media is a poison for society.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
And I think, at least for fathers and men, it's really bad.
Yeah.
For women, it's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, it's bad in a different way because I think it for some men, it gives them a false sense of satisfying that hunter wolf because they're like, look how many followers I got, or look at all the pictures I'm posting of me being a badass and stuff like that.
Oh.
While for other men, it's like, oh my God, look at all those badass men. I'm not that hunter.
Well, I know, like, it fucks with my hunter wolf in the sense that there are things that the wifey will show me here and there. Oh, look, there's this thing in Bali that you can rent this cabana and it looks fucking awesome because somebody's posting some bullshit on social media.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that's cool and all, but like, what do you want to do with that information? Oh, maybe one day. It's like, there's no money for that right now.
Yeah.
There's no money in the budget right now. And we can have this logical conversation and we walk away from it. But then at the end of the day, as soon as she leaves and I'm there with myself, with my thoughts, I'm like, man, she really wants to go to that fucking place in Bali.
Yep.
Like, I would like to take her to that. The hunter wolf in me is like, go find that money.
The hunter wolf's like, I'm going to do what I need to do to get that money.
Yeah, I should get that money and I should take her there.
But then the protector wolf in you is like, no.
But if we do that,
family, we gotta worry about this. Yeah.
Exactly. How am I gonna pay mortgage? Yeah, you could go to Bali, but what about the mortgage?
Yep, 100%. Like I see all these people that are like, oh, I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, or oh, we're in the Maldives, or oh, we're traveling to Hawaii, and I was like, we could do that. But then Chi-Chi, I hope you like flipping burgers.
Yeah,
you ain't going to college if I drain everything, right?
Exactly. And life happens to everybody. There could be any number of things that can happen that would impact that. You know, you never know.
Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, we're good. And then I think about, I was like, yo, all it takes is 1 week in the hospital.
Major thing.
1 week in the hospital.
Yeah.
And we will be in so much debt.
Yeah.
That we'll never see the top of it again.
When number one went to the hospital for his asthma attack, we were in there for 4 days while they monitored him. I was fucking sweating bullets the whole time. Like, the first initial thought was like, holy shit, save my son. He's having an asthma attack. He can't breathe, blah, blah, blah. I was legit worried. And then when we were in the monitoring phase, I'm like, okay, he's good. Come on, get us the fuck out of here. Please, 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 please. Holy shit, get us the fuck out of here.
So I don't think I've ever mentioned this before. They thought number 2 had leukemia.
Oh, shit.
And I cried in the car when they called me. They were like, you have to get a test done.
Ooh, no.
I literally had to pull over because I almost crashed because she was 4 months old.
Yeah, just baby. Super small.
I had to pull over because I couldn't see the road. I was crying.
Oh shit.
And they called me and I was like, we're going to do whatever we need to do. So I went and had the tests and they're giving me the bills. I'm like, oh my God, these bills are ridiculous, even with insurance. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I need to know what to do.
Do it.
But then all the tests came back and they're like, okay, it's good. But then they're like, we still need to run a few more tests just to make sure that it's not something else, which wasn't bad at all. It was just one of those things. It was like, well, if it is this, you just need to be aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I'm like, oh my God, like I see the bill for these other tests and I'm like, maybe we don't do these tests.
Yeah.
Because those other tests were like, well, this one's like 1,200. This one's like 1,400. This one's like 700. I'm like, we just already spent thousands of dollars to make sure she doesn't have leukemia.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say no.
Right. That's your protector.
Even though at this point it's like, yeah, this isn't something life-threatening. It's just like, if she has it, it's just something to know. But I wouldn't be a good protector wolf if I was like, nah,
no,
I ain't going to spend the money. But then the hunter wolf now was in me. I was like, yo, I got to make money. I got to do something. What I got to do? What I got to do? Then I'm like, all right, I got to get a raise. Let me start talking to the boss, get a raise. Like the hunter wolf was already like, all right, we got to go. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like being a father kind of adjusts the way I look at both of those wolves, but at the same time, it kind of flattens them, right? Like the hunter wolf sometimes is like huge when they think your kid's got leukemia, but then it's like, no, you're good. Now it's a huge hospital bill. So now the hunter wolf is like shrunk down. Like I put him in the Pokeball, he shrunk down. And now the protector wolf, now the hunter wolf's like, yo, how we gonna pay these bills?
You're the underdog.
How we gonna pay these bills, bro?
We're hungry. We need that.
Now you're multi-thousand in the hole. What you gonna do?
So all things to say, right? It seems like using the two wolf analogy.
I like the two wolf analogy. I'm gonna start looking at my life in the two wolf analogy.
I'm gonna start looking at it that way too. With the Uncle Conan the Barbarian writing on each one.
What is best?
What is best in life? But using the two wolf analogy, right?
You know, wolves pee outside.
No, I thought they went into the fucking bathroom.
I'm just saying, if you go and use the two wolf analogy,
fuck out of here.
You gotta be like Uncle Conan.
No. Fuck out of here. I'm gonna start calling him Uncle Conan.
Bet.
Remember I was calling him Uncle his name throughout the wedding? He was gonna kick my ass.
Yeah, he was like, yo,
Frankie the Tanky's about to get his ass kicked.
I'm gonna yoke him.
I'm gonna yoke his ass. But I guess all to say, it seems like that hunter wolf was so prominent when we were young. When we were younger, when
we had
before
nothing to
dads,
protect.
Because there was no protecting. So I guess the point, and thank you for having this conversation with me, because this has been bothering me for a bit.
Anytime, bro.
Yeah, and I like having this understanding of the two wolf analogy, the Uncle Conan analogy. It helps. It really does. I know, as silly as it sounds, right?
No. That's what this podcast is, right? Like this is a dad podcast. We didn't talk about our kids too much this time.
Talked about
us as fathers.
Yeah.
And that's a valid thing to discuss.
I agree.
Because there's probably fathers out there who are feeling the same thing. Like that something's missing. And they probably feel guilty.
Yeah.
They probably feel really guilty. Like, I got a nice wife. I got a beautiful home. I got kids.
I got everything set up.
Why do I feel this way?
What is this uncomfortableness?
And there's nothing wrong with feeling that way because that's natural.
Right. Because the hunter wolf is still there.
I think you just need to identify it, realize that there's two aspects of you as an individual that you need to satisfy, and then work at it. And I think this might just be my own theory, because I have another buddy who's like, yo, how do I know if I'm not in love with my wife anymore or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
And he was having a lot of mental issues. I was like, I think you need to back up for a second. I think you got to figure out your mental first, because I think you might have a lot going on that might be mentally tricking you into thinking you're no longer in love with your wife.
Yeah, it's getting in the way of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is one of those things, like if you're not recognizing that there's an entire other part of you that's not being fulfilled and you're ignoring it, it might give you this false sense. It might lead you to being like that guy who cheats.
Right.
It might lead you to being that guy who leaves his wife.
Hunting for those Band-Aid solutions.
Or does something stupid, like going on a fucking submersible.
Yeah.
God rest the souls of those individuals. There are some people who will go out and do some shit like that to get that thrill, to put that Band-Aid on them, not realizing that You just need to pay attention to that wolf and not try to put a Band-Aid by doing some stupid, dangerous shit.
Yeah, there's other ways around it.
Exactly. So when he came to me like that, that's why I was like, hey, just figure your mental out first, right? And I think you're a more balanced individual, so I don't think you ever got that far. But I think from what you're telling me, it sounds like you kind of needed to recognize that.
Yeah, it does. It helps.
Now it's resolving it, because I have that too. That's why I've been throwing myself into a lot of projects lately. That helps resolve that hunter wolf for me a bit, because now I feel like I'm the underdog hunting something. But I also think we need to do stuff like maybe that whole role play, pick up your wife thing or something like that. Or even when we have guys' nights and stuff like that, you know. I think it's those little things that aren't really Band-Aids. I don't want to consider them Band-Aids when you're really fulfilling what that wolf wants, right? I think the Band-Aids is when you're like, here's a half step.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So maybe not Band-Aids, but it's like supplemental stuff.
Yeah. It's just enough to keep you going.
Yeah. It's not a full meal. You're eating scraps. You're eating pieces. But that full meal is going for the endeavor, doing the dangerous thing, doing something, putting yourself in a position where you're clawing your way up and you're fighting it.
You know, something where you get to be like, I get to be the me 15 years ago, following an endeavor. That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that, I think, is what, when you're going for those cheap thrills, those quick hits, it's like throwing kibbles and bits to your
to the hunter wolf.
Like, here's some kibbles and bits, but I want a piece of bison. You know, so I think we need to stop and kind of identify like, hey, I need steak right now. I don't need this dry food. I don't need these kibbles and bits, this pedigree.
And fuck anybody who says the kibbles and bits and pedigree is good enough.
Yeah, I need that Wagyu. Give me that Kobe beef. And I think that's kind of where you need to get at. And it's crazy that we got here, because we were talking about how being a father's changed us.
Yeah.
And what I think we ended up at is being a father's definitely changed us, and that we need to kind of reintegrate that old part of ourselves a little bit.
There's a balancing act.
Now, I'm not saying reintegrate the guy who's hanging out the window going, driving in a car holding a bottle.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need the potato cannon, Rican craziness. That was during a different time where our hunter wolf was the primary.
You know what? To bring it all back, last time when we talked about masculinity, we said you needed to bring the masculine and the feminine into balance.
Yeah.
That's why you need your mother to teach you some, and you need your father to teach you some. Well, as a man, you need to bring your protector and your hunter into balance.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're feeling. And I think that's a little bit what I was feeling. When you don't bring them into balance, and when your protector's too much or when your hunter's too much, you feel lost. Poppy Perfume, what were you calling it?
Poppy Shampoo.
Poppy Shampoo. He was too much hunter.
Yeah.
Nothing to protect. Us, too much protector. Nothing to hunt. And I think that's what we're all feeling. My buddy who feels like he doesn't love his wife anymore has his own mental issues, but I think he was too protector, not enough hunter. When you lose that hunter drive, you don't feel like yourself.
Yeah.
And when you lose that protector drive, when you're not feeding the protecting wolf, you feel like a failure.
Yeah. No matter what you do.
We're stuck between feeling like we're not us or feeling like a failure because we're not balancing.
Yeah.
I think that is what we got to take from that, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with changing from the man you were before becoming a father, but you need to recognize that man is still valid.
Yeah. That's still you.
He may need to be morphed a little bit to fit the current life, but he's still part of you. And doing what I did, creating a false identity, the fox, doesn't help.
The hangovers don't hit the same after. You know?
Yeah, like they definitely don't. The hangover at 30 is different than the hangover at 20.
20, for sure.
I think you just need to find a way to balance them. Balance the masculine and feminine, like we were saying previously, but also balance your wolves. Because if you don't balance your wolves, they're going to tear each other to shreds. And what's left afterwards is a man who doesn't have enough of either. I don't know.
I like it. I think it makes sense. I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna hold on to that and think of it that way and see what it does for me.
Bet.
I
think that's where we're going on that one. I think we ended up far afield on this one.
A little bit. It kind of all works together,
but we came back and it actually worked.
It makes sense.
Tied it up in a nice bow.
Maybe when you're editing it, you'll have a different idea.
No, I think we tied it up in a nice bow. We went far afield and we came back and everything tied up nice. And I think we both came away with a little philosophy that we can live with going forward.
I really like the two wolves analogy.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that shirt, the wolves on it, that corny ass shirt, howling at the moon. That's going to be my workout shirt.
All right. Well, Mr. Tanky, I think that's what I needed to say.
Yeah.
I think both wolves are satisfied with that answer.
I think so as well. I like it.
Nice.
Plug the social media after we talk shit about social media earlier.
Well, you can find us on social media. Hi Podcast, I'm Dad is where you can find us on both Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you can get your podcasts at. We got a Facebook page, same name, Hi Podcast, I'm Dad. You know, we'll link. I'm pretty sure our link tree is up with everything. You know, and we're happy you listened. I hope you got a little something for this. All right, let's finish our drinks and call it a night. It's like 3 a.m.
4 almost.
Oh boy. All right. Once again, thank you everybody for listening. This has been Hi Podcast. I'm Dad.